Hello colleagues. A very short notice about the software versions and about the frequencies of radio. Let's talk about software versions. As we always require, this is absolutely a must, always use the software from the same software pack. I hope by this time you already do this. So it means that the software for beacon, stationary beacon, the mobile beacon, and other all stationary beacons, the modem and the dashboard, all must come from the same software pack. Don't mix up the software between different software packs, because this is very likely reason for all kind of issues. So always from the same software pack. But there is another element you need to remember. We have two architectures, inverse architecture and non-inverse architecture. Many beacons, they may work in inverse architecture and in non-inverse architecture. So it's quite easy to mix up the software between the software architectures. For example, in inverse architecture, Mini RX would be the mobile beacon. So it means that if you are using inverse architecture, install inverse architecture software for Mini RX. At the same time, if you have non-inverse architecture you want to deploy, this will be stationary beacon and will be mobile beacon. So in this case, you need to install non-inverse architecture to Mini RX and non-inverse architecture to mobile beacon, as opposite to the inverse architecture. How to distinguish? Now we have a folder of the software. So the first thing to notice is this I. So I means inverse architecture. So it means that when you download the software, check NIA, non-inverse architecture, or IA, inverse architecture, the folders inside the software pack. And when you upload the software, if you face any issues with tracking or something, some abnormal behavior, check inside the dashboard the versions. So here on the top, you will be able to see the software version of each of these beacons. Basically connect them over USB and notice. If you tried to deploy the inverse architecture and you don't see I at the end, certainly there is a mistake. So please update the software once again to make sure that you have I to each of these devices. So it means that you have inverse architecture installed. This is about the software versions. Another element, of course, when you're ordering, you need to choose between European bands, which is 433, and American bands, 915 MHz. So you cannot arbitrarily change the radio frequency of your hardware. It's defined by the radio. Defined by the radio, by antennas, by everything. So it means that if you bought 433, you must use 433 band. You cannot change 915 or 868 or anything like this. So 433 must be used. Only in some very special cases, which we will talk separately, it could be with some sacrificing in performance and so forth. So don't mix up. If you have the hardware for 433, you must use the 433 frequency inside your radio settings inside the dashboard. This is valid for, once again, all the station beacons, mobile beacons, and the modem. By the way, Mini RX has embedded antenna, so which works only in 915. So you cannot have Mini RX, at least now, with embedded internal ceramic antenna on 433. It would be too large. So only 915. Let's talk about 915 a bit more. 915 band and 868 MHz band are close to each other. So yes, for these bands, you can choose software-wise settings inside the dashboard and choose and set them either to 915 frequency or 68 frequency. 868 frequencies. So 915 is US band and 868 is European band. Bands for other countries, please check your regulators. So we received this many questions, so and answer is the same. Always check with your regulators. Japan, Korea, they do have bands in this, but once again, check with your regulators. We will be able to help and answer you, but nevertheless, remember this. So highlighting. For inverse architecture, don't forget to see I in software versions for each of this device, and don't try to set a wrong radio frequency for your hardware. It's hardware defined, you cannot change it. So if you have more questions, please always ask us to info@marvelmind.com, and we will be happy to help you. Thank you.